Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you might make your jaw drop. Before we dive into this explosive story about what's really happening with the Indiana Fever, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next on this channel. The drama unfolding in Indianapolis right now is absolutely insane, and I've got all the receipts. So here's the deal. Stephanie White has made her choice, and it's not the one Fever fans were expecting. While Caitlin Clark sits on the bench nursing yet another injury, Kelsey Mitchell has become the chosen one in White's system. And folks, the evidence is so obvious, it's almost painful to watch. Let me paint you a picture of what went down just days ago. Kelsey Mitchell was ice cold, and I mean Antarctica levels of frozen. She was 3 for 16 at one point in the game. That's not a typo. 3 for 16. Most coaches would have yanked their player faster than you can say, Brick City. But what does Stephanie White do? She pulls Mitchell aside and whispers those 3 magic words that she's never, and I mean never, said to Caitlin Clark. Let it fly. Can you believe that? Let it fly, it's going to go. Those exact words. Meanwhile, our girl Caitlin came out on a podcast. Yeah, she actually said this publicly, and revealed that Stephanie White told her if she's missing shots, she should just drive instead. Don't keep shooting. Can you imagine telling one of the greatest shooters in women's basketball history to stop shooting? It's like telling a fish not to swim. But wait, it gets juicier. After that same game where Mitchell was colder than a polar bear's toenails, White doubled down in the press conference. She literally said, and I quote, "The biggest thing is just telling her, like, let it fly, it's going to go." Then she emphasized it again. Keep shooting it from outside. 8 for 24 on the night, and she's getting the green light treatment. Now, let's talk about what's been happening with Caitlin Clark, because this is where things get really interesting. Clark has been dealing with injury after injury this season. First a quad strain, then a groin injury, and now another groin issue. She's missed 11 games total. 11. And here's the kicker. The Fever have been winning without her. They're on a 3-game winning streak as we speak, including a Commissioner's Cup championship victory. You know what Stephanie White said about this? She said she's proud of this group and how they've found connectivity on both ends. Then she dropped this bomb. I don't know that we're where we're going to be because Caitlin hasn't been on the floor. Sounds supportive, right? Wrong. Listen to the subtext. She's basically saying they're doing just fine without their biggest star. Here's what's really going on, and I'm gonna break it down for you like nobody else will. Stephanie White came into this season with a plan, and that plan was to run this offense through Kelsey Mitchell. Why? Because Mitchell is in her 8th season with the Fever. She's been through the trenches. She's never had a winning season, not one. Last year's 500 record was literally the best of her career, and White sees her as the steady veteran who deserves her moment. But here's the problem with that logic. You don't bench a Ferrari to let the Honda Civic take a victory lap. No disrespect to Kelsey Mitchell, she's a certified bucket getter, a 2-time All-Star, and I respect her game. But we're talking about Caitlin Clark here. The same player who led the league in assists as a rookie, set multiple records, and literally transformed the franchise overnight. Let me tell you what's even more frustrating. When Clark has played this season, she's been in a shooting slump. She went 1 for 23 from 3-point range in her games before the latest injury. 1 for 23. And you know what White said about it? "I'm not worried about Caitlin's shot, but actions speak louder than words, people. If you're not worried, why are you telling her not to shoot when she misses a few?" Meanwhile, Mitchell can go 2 for 14 and get the keep firing pep talk. Make it make sense. Here's my theory, and buckle up because this is where it gets spicy. Stephanie White is old school. She believes in hierarchy, in paying your dues, in veteran leadership. She looks at Kelsey Mitchell and sees someone who's been loyal to this franchise through some really dark times. Single-digit win seasons, constant coaching changes, no playoff appearances until last year. And now that they finally have a shot at something special, White wants Mitchell to be the face of it. But that's not how basketball works. You play your best players, you maximize your talent, you don't let personal feelings or some twisted sense of loyalty override what's best for winning. And what's best for winning is letting Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark. The irony is that Clark has been nothing but professional about this whole situation. Even while injured, she's been on the bench acting like an assistant coach, bouncing balls on the sideline, staying engaged. One report even said she was play wrestling with Sydney Colson during a game because she just wants to be involved so badly. That's the kind of competitor we're talking about here. And get this, Aaliyah Boston, their all-star center, has been absolutely cooking without Clark on the floor. She's shooting 78% over the last 4 games. But here's the thing, she's only averaging about 7 shots per game without Clark compared to almost 13 with her. That tells you everything about how the offense flows differently when Clark's running the show. Now, I want to address something that really gets under my skin. Some people are saying, well, the Fever are winning without Clark, so maybe White's system is working. Stop it. Just stop. That's like saying a car runs fine on 3 wheels because it made it to the grocery store. Sure, they beat some teams, but what happens when they face the New York Liberty in the playoffs? What happens when they need that transcendent talent to take over a game? The truth is, Stephanie White is playing with fire here. She's got 3 All-Stars on this roster: Clark, Mitchell, and Boston. All 3 made the All-Star team this year, hosted right there in Indianapolis. But instead of building around her generational talent in Clark, she's trying to force-feed touches to Mitchell because, what? Because Mitchell deserves it after all these years? This isn't a charity, folks. This is professional basketball. You want to know why the Liberty are defending champions? Because they put the ball in Sabrina Ionescu's hands and let her cook. You know why the Aces have been dominant? Because they run everything through Aja Wilson. You don't see those coaches telling their superstars to stop shooting. And here's what really burns me up. Clark herself admitted that the team has had issues with execution and scouting reports. After their loss to Golden State, she called them out for not following the game plan. White agreed, saying their attention to detail was poor and their competitive fire was not there. But whose job is it to make sure the team is prepared? Whose job is it to motivate them? That's right, the head coach. Let me paint you another picture. Clark's first game back from her latest injury, they got blown out by Golden State, 80-61. Clark shot 4 for 12. Not great, but she was coming off an injury. What does a good coach do? They work with their star player, they design plays to get them easy baskets, they build their confidence back up. What does White do? She throws shade in the press conference about poor execution. Meanwhile, when Mitchell has a bad shooting night, oh, just keep letting it fly, girl, you got this. The double standard is so obvious, Helen Keller could see it. And don't even get me started on the minutes restriction drama. Clark apparently told the coaching staff she doesn't want to come back if there's going to be a minutes restriction. She wants to play full go or not at all. That's a competitor. That's someone who wants to help their team win. But White used that as an excuse to hold her out longer, saying, if there's going to be a minutes restriction, maybe we'll hold her another game. You know what this reminds me of? It's like when your teacher had a favorite student who could do no wrong, while you got in trouble for breathing too loud. That's exactly what's happening here. Mitchell is the teacher's pet, and Clark is the talented kid who threatens the established order. Here's what should be happening. Stephanie White should be building this entire offense around Caitlin Clark. Let her run pick and rolls with Boston all day. Space the floor with shooters like Mitchell and Sophie Cunningham. Use Clark's gravity to create open shots for everyone else. It's not rocket science. Instead, we're watching White try to prove some kind of point about old school basketball and veteran leadership. Well, guess what? The game has evolved. The best players play, period. And right now, when healthy, Caitlin Clark is not just the best player on the Fever, she's one of the best players in the entire league. I'll give you some numbers to chew on. Last season, Clark averaged over 17 points and 8 assists per game as a rookie. A rookie! She had multiple 30-point games, multiple games with 15-plus assists. She literally changed the trajectory of this franchise. And now she's being told not to shoot when she misses a few. Meanwhile, Mitchell is averaging around 17 points on decent efficiency, but she needs 20-plus shots to get there. She's a volume scorer, always has been. And that's fine when you're on a bad team with no other options. But when you have Caitlin Clark on your roster, you adapt. Here's my prediction, and mark my words on this. If Stephanie White continues down this path of favoring Mitchell over Clark, it's going to blow up in her face. Clark is too talented, too competitive, and too important to this franchise to be marginalized. Either White figures out how to maximize both players, or she's going to find herself looking for another job. And before anyone says I'm being too harsh, let me remind you what's at stake here. The Fever haven't been relevant in years. They finally have a generational talent in Clark, a dominant big in Boston, and a proven scorer in Mitchell. This should be the beginning of a dynasty. Instead, we're watching ego and favoritism potentially derail the whole thing. The saddest part? The fans see it. Social media is blowing up every time Mitchell takes 20-plus shots, while Clark is either hurt or being told to pass more. The attendance numbers don't lie. People come to see Caitlin Clark play basketball, not to watch her defer to Kelsey Mitchell for 36 minutes. Look, I want to be clear about something. This isn't about hating on Kelsey Mitchell. She's been a warrior for this franchise. She's stayed loyal when she could have demanded trades. She's improved her game every year. But this is about maximizing the talent on your roster. And right now, Stephanie White is failing at that basic coaching responsibility. You want to know what a smart coach would do? They'd stagger the minutes so both Clark and Mitchell get opportunities to run the offense. They'd use Mitchell more off-ball, running her off screens like Golden State does with Steph Curry. They'd let Clark orchestrate in crucial moments while using Mitchell as a secondary creator. It's called modern basketball, and apparently, Stephanie White missed the memo. And here's the thing that really frustrates me. This team has championship potential. They've got the pieces. They've got the talent. They've even shown flashes of brilliance. But until White stops playing favorites and starts coaching to win, they're going to keep spinning their wheels at 500. The clock is ticking, folks. Clark isn't going to wait around forever for a coach who doesn't believe in her. Mitchell deserves better than being set up to fail as the primary option when she's best suited as a complementary star. And Boston needs both guards at their best to maximize her dominance in the paint. I'll leave you with this thought. The greatest coaches in basketball history, Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, Pat Summitt, they all had one thing in common. They put their best players in position to succeed. They didn't play favorites. They didn't let personal relationships cloud their judgment. They coached to win championships. Stephanie White has a choice to make. She can either continue down this path of favoritism and watch the Fever remain mediocre, or she can swallow her pride, unleash Caitlin Clark, and build something special in Indianapolis. The ball is in her court, literally and figuratively. But based on what I've seen so far, I'm not holding my breath. This is Kelsey Mitchell's team in Stephanie White's eyes, and that's exactly why the Fever aren't going anywhere anytime soon. What a waste of generational talent. What an absolute travesty for Fever fans who've waited so long for success. What do you think? Am I being too hard on Stephanie White? Or is the favoritism as obvious as I'm making it seem? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more hard-hitting WNBA analysis. Until next time, keep your eyes on the prize, because this story is far from over.